Hello, welcome to the Rogers Historical Museum video series. 2021 marks the 140th year for the town of Rogers.
To celebrate, we are looking at the history of our town through objects that are in the museum's collection. This video is part 1, and we'll be focusing on objects through the years 1881 to 1916. Let's get started. Chances are you've seen glass bottles with cork stoppers in them, especially if you've been to a craft store. There was a time when drugstores and pharmacists used these glass bottles and cork stoppers to hold the medicines they sold to customers. Have you ever wondered how they fit the cork stoppers to the individual bottles, which can be different sizes? They would use a Cork Sizer, like this one. The corks used would come in a lot of sizes based on the size of bottles that were used. To get the corks to the appropriate size, they would have been soaked in water for a few minutes, then put into the Cork Sizer to get it down to the needed size. It would then be placed into the bottle to dry and expand. This made a tight, waterproof lid for the glass bottles. This Cork Sizer here dates back to the late 1800s to the early 1900s, and the only markings on it are the faded initials JMM. This particular Cork Sizer was used in the Applegate drugstore, which was founded in 1881 and was owned by J.E. Applegate, who moved to Rogers from Illinois that same year.
Tablecloths can both protect and decorate your table. They can also be plain or decorative, like this one here. This embroidered tablecloth belonged to the Oakley family and was made around 1900. It is made of cotton and flowers are machine embroidered. The tablecloth also features scalloped edges and cutwork hearts. Cutwork is embroidery or lace with parts cut out and the edges oversewn or filled with needlework designs. It is believed that this tablecloth was possibly made by Lula Oakley, the daughter of Durant Alexander Oakley, a prominent businessman from Tennessee. Mr. Oakley moved to Rogers in 1868 and owned multiple businesses, such as a dry goods store, a mule barn, and Rogers Hardware.
When you hear the phrase family pet, you probably have images of dogs and cats come to mind. But in the 1800s and 1900s, chickens were also considered to be family pets. They were especially popular as pets for children. One breed in particular was a popular choice for a children's pet, and that was the bantam or banty chicken, as they are easy to care for. This breed is small and docile and originally from Indonesia, where they get their name from the Bantam province. Banty chickens are classified into 3 categories: true bantams, developed bantams, and miniaturized bantams. The eggs that you see here come from the Banty chicken breed and are smaller than other chicken eggs due to the small size of the Banty chicken, and they have been chosen by Sally Kindley Oakley, sister-in-law to Durant Alexander Oakley, to be part of the Oakley family farm around 1900. Sally was married to Durant's brother Elijah, and when he became too ill to work, Sally took over the management of the Oakley family farm for her husband.
For thousands of years, humans have used tools to help them get things done, and the tools of the trade vary from job to job. If you're a builder, you're going to use tools like hammers, saws, and drills, plus many more, including chisels like this one. This chisel, which dates back to at least 1902, is a brick chisel, and is also known as a bolster chisel. They are used in combination with club hammers to crack or cut bricks. This is done to fit the brick to the size of a project. The chisel you see here, which was owned by John B. Myler, was likely used to make smooth cuts. Mr. Myler was from Tennessee and moved to Rogers in 1895. He was a master brick mason who worked with the Matthew brothers between 1895 and 1910 constructing buildings in downtown Rogers, many of which still stand today.
An important part of any retail business is the cash register, and there was a time when they could be quite ornamental like this one here. This cash register was produced by the National Cash Register Company in 1910 and is model number 441. It was decorated in the Empire pattern, which was designed by Tiffany. Not only did this register track the different types of sales that were made, but it also tracked how many times the register was used, how much cash was in the drawer, and how many times a purchase was paid for using cash or store credit. All of that was done using counters located inside the register. This cash register was used in the Applegate drugstore, which, as we mentioned earlier, was owned and operated by J.E. Applegate, and would go on to carry much more than pharmaceuticals, as it expanded to include school supplies, a soda fountain, and more. While the Applegate drugstore no longer exists as a business, as it closed in 1964, the building Mr. Applegate had built in 1907 still stands and looks much as it did in 1907.
Thank you for joining us today for part 1 of celebrating 140 years of Rogers in Objects. We hope you enjoyed taking a look at objects from the first 35 years of the town's history, as well as learning a little bit about the families who owned them.
We hope you'll join us for part 2, where we cover the years 1917 to 1952. See you at the museum.
Bye!